All right, last video. So what I want you to do is look at this problem, go back to our notes about partitioning directed line segments, and I want you to give it a shot and then come back to the video. Okay, so looking at the problem, we're given the 2 points, P and Q. What are the coordinates of the point on the directed line segment, which means it has a direction and order matters. So P comes first and then Q. So P is our x1, y1, and our Q is our x2, y2. All right, that partitions PQ in a ratio of, let me focus this, sorry about that, in a ratio of 3 to 2. 3 to 2. All right, so the first thing we need to do is get our 6 numbers that we're going to plug into our formula. So A, B, x1, y1, x2, y2. All right, so our A is 3 and our B is 2. Let's look at P to plug in the two x1 and y1. So x1 is 2, y1 is -1. That comes from point P right here. All right, and then our x2 is -9, and our y2 is -6. And that comes from point Q. So these are the 6 numbers that we're going to plug into our formula. So I'm going to pull out the formula sheet so you can see our formula right here. We're going to use this one. So I'm going to write it up at the top of my paper. I hope you already wrote it down. So it's going to be B times x1 plus A times x2 all over B plus A. And then B times y1 plus A times y2 all over B plus A. All right, I wrote that down on my paper to reference. Okay, I accidentally stopped the video before, and I was just talking to myself for like 5 minutes. So anyway, let me go over the work I did while I was talking to myself. So I had written down the formula here, right? This is for our x value, and this is for our y value, because our end result is going to be an xy coordinate. All right, so I did the x first. I pulled just this formula, and I plugged everything in. So B is 2, x1 is 2, A is 3, x2 is -9, all over B plus A. And I think I accidentally wrote A plus B, but remember, order doesn't matter with addition. All right, 2 times 2 is 4, 3 times -9 is a -27, and 3 plus 2 is 5. So you end up doing 4 minus 27 in your calculator, and you get a -23 over 5. A is your only answer choice that has -23 over 5 as the x value, so you can eliminate the others. But you know me, we're still going to do the y just to make sure. All right, so I plugged in the y as well, because I got really far talking to myself. All right, so our y is going to be, we're going to use this formula over here. So y is b, which is 2, times y1, which is -1, times a, and y2, which is -6. 2 times -1 gives me -2. 3 times -6 gives me -18, and 2 plus 3 is 5. All right, so our last step will be to do -2 minus 18, and you can just do that in your calculator on your phone, right? You can do -2 minus 18, and you get -20. So -20 divided by 5 is going to give me -4, which is A. All right, great work. Go ahead and pause the video and attempt the next question on your own, and then come back when you're ready. All right, I hope you paused the video and you've already selected your answer. Let's see if you are correct. All right, so an equation of a line, A, is this right here. What form is this? We know it is slope-intercept form, so you already know your slope, right? Your slope is the coefficient in front of x, which is -1 over 2. All right, which equation is an equation of the line that's perpendicular? That word is important, and you should be thinking perpendicular, negative, reciprocal, and passes through the point -4, 0. All right, so first let's figure out what a perpendicular slope would be. So we already said that our m was -1 over 2. So our perpendicular m is going to be, change the sign and flip it. So it's going to be a positive 2 over 1, which ends up simplifying to 2. So I can eliminate two answer choices, right? I can eliminate A and B. These two lines would be parallel because they have the exact same slope. We want a perpendicular slope, which is option C or D. All right, now we also know that the point needs to go through the line negative 4, 0. So a line is y equals mx plus b. I know my slope has to be 2, so I need to figure out my b. If it needs to go through negative 4, 0, let's plug in negative 4 and 0 here. So my x value is going to be negative 4, and my y value is going to be 0. And let's just solve for b. So 2 times a negative 4 gives me a negative 8. And to move that 8 to the other side to get b by itself, I'm going to add 8 to both sides. So I end up with 8 is equal to b, or b is equal to 8. So when I go ahead and write my new equation, I'm going to keep my slope of 2 that we calculated earlier, plus my b, which is 8. So my answer choice here is D. All right, last question. Go ahead and pause the video, try this one on your own, and then come back when you're ready. All right, looking at the video, or looking at the question, this gives us triangle ABC, and it asks for the area. So the first thing we should think of is area equals 1/2 base times height. Remember, height is formed by the right angle. Do I see any angles in here that could potentially be a right angle? I do. I see angle A could potentially be a right angle. To test to see if it's a right angle, we need to see if the slope of AC, so we need to see if line AC is perpendicular to line AB. If it is perpendicular, then I know that that's a 90-degree angle because perpendicular lines form 90-degree angles. So let's go ahead and figure this out. I need the slope of line AC. Remember, it's equal to rise over run. So let's see, if we started at 0 and ended at 4, we went up 4. Our rise was a positive 4. If I started my x values at negative 3 and ended at 1, that means I ran 1, 2, 3, 4. I went over positive 4. 4 divided by 4 is equal to a positive 1. So my slope of line AC is a positive 1. Let's find the slope of AB. Again, rise over run. All right, let's say I started at point A, my y value is 4, and I end at a y value of 1. That means I went down 3. Let's look at my x's. I started at 1, and I ended at 4. That means I went right 3, so a positive 3. Negative 3 over 3 would give me a negative 1. Are these two slopes negative reciprocals? Yes. If you change the sign and flip them, they will be negative reciprocals. All right. So I do have perpendicular lines and I do have a right angle. So what that means is from A to C is my base, and from A to B is my height. So that's how I get my base and my height to plug into this formula. So my base is going to be line AC. So let's use the distance formula to calculate that. All right. Running out of room here. Let's say point A and point C. All right, and I just grab those points from the graph, right? So we'll label them x1, y1, x2, y2, and we'll plug it into the distance formula. All right, so looking at this, you see our x2 is negative 3, our x1 is 1, plus our y2 is 0, our y1 is 4. Now if you look, our answer choices are going to be in square root format. So I'll show you how we actually, if you're using Desmos, we'll do this 2 ways. I'll go ahead and I'll get the decimal approximation, and then we can walk through how we actually calculate the simplified radicals. So what I want you to do is go to your Desmos app, and let's just put this in. So square root of, and on Desmos you use the subtraction sign for a negative. I know that's different from what we normally do in class. Plus 0 minus 4 squared. Squared! Alright, so that's going to give us an answer of approximately 5.66. Alright, now let's calculate our height. Our height is going to be line AB. A is 1, 4. B is 4, 1. X1, Y1, X2, Y2. So 4 minus 1 squared plus 1 minus 4 squared. Let's go ahead and also put this into Desmos. Square root of parentheses 4 minus 1 squared plus 1 minus 4 squared. And I end up getting approximately 4.24. Alright, so I'm ready to plug this into our area formula. Area is equal to 1/2 times our base, which we already said was 5.66, right? This is our base, and this is our height. So our base is 5.66 approximately, and our height is 4.24. Alright, so our area is going to equal approximately 11.9992, which rounds to 12.
What's up?
Alright, and I went ahead and checked to make sure that, to see what the square root is. Sorry about my loud dog in the background. Alright, so looking at this, I checked to make sure the square root of 72 and the square root of 288 were not 12. So I put in the square root of 72 and I got 8.4, and then the square root of 288 I put in and I got 16.97. So our answer here is B. Alright, great work everybody. Now remember, you're working on your Khan Academy if you're in Miss Strickland's class, and your IXL if you're in Miss Lucas's class. Email us, text us on Remind with any questions you have.